Well, hello, friends. Hello and welcome. Welcome to yours and mine, Cozy Corner. My name is Amanda, and on this channel, we talk about books, and more books. Guys, I feel like I haven't sat in front of this camera in forever. The last two videos that I recorded, I think I recorded them like in the same day, so like I would just have it available and be able to put the video out at a later date. But I really feel like I just haven't sat and recorded in forever, you know. And probably was only a couple weeks, but it just feels like forever. But anyway, as you can see from the title, this is a book haul. I just can't stop buying books, which I need to because if you look at my bookshelf over here, you see the space here because I had to make room. So I had two rows of books here, and on the back row were books that I already read, and on the very bottom row here, books that I've read. Well, trying to make space for the new books that I just got that we're going to go over, I needed to make space for it. So I took what I could down and put it here. Most of these right here in the front I have read, but I just didn't want to break it up because it was a series. But anyway, I say all that to say I only have two more rows where I can put books at. And then outside of that, I'm done. I have no other place to put books unless I just pack them on the floor. And I'm absolutely not going to do that because then I'm just going to look like a hoarder. So I really need to work on not going to buy books, not ordering books, and just shop my bookshelf. That's what I need to do. Shop my bookshelf and read what's on here because that's the whole point of why I got these books is because I think it's something that I want to read. However, it is very hard, as you guys know. I know y'all probably just as guilty as I am. It is very hard not to go book shopping because, at least for me, I love reading books, but I also love buying books. I love being in the bookstore. I love being surrounded by books. It's like, you know, it's just this feeling, y'all, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. It's this feeling that you get when you get in there and you smell the new books and you're just surrounded by it and all the beautiful covers and your mind is just racing about, oh my gosh, I haven't read this. What is this? What is that? So anyway, I need to get that under control because it's a real addiction. It's for real. So I'm gonna pull myself together and work on my issues. But anyway, let's get started with the book haul, guys. Okay, guys, so let's get started with the book haul. This one will be just slightly different from the other ones that I've done because I'm just going to put like all the books together. So I have books from Book Outlet, Second and Charles, and the Goodwill. So I'm just actually going to start off with the two books that I got from the Goodwill here. Most of the time, I put these two, or not these two, I put the books from the Goodwill in my series because I have so many books from the Goodwill. But being that I only have two and I'm already doing these other books, I figure I would just go over it. So this one right here I have is Children of Virtue and Vengeance. And this is by Tommy Didamai. I'm probably saying that wrong. This is book 2 out of 3. And the condition of the book is decent enough. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. Now, let me say this about this book. So um this is not necessarily a book I would normally just gravitate towards, but I know book 1, which I believe is The Children of Blood and Bone. I saw that and I thought about reading it. I was like, that might be interesting. I don't know, thought about it. I didn't necessarily like put it on my TBR, but when I went in Goodwill and I saw it, I thought like, oh, this is beautiful. It's only $1. Might as well just go ahead and grab it and, see if it's something that I want to read. Books for $1, You just can't beat it. Now, the second book that I have is The Silent Companions. Oh, and I'm sorry, just in case you've never seen any of my videos, if it's a book that's in, if it's a book that's in a series, and if it's not the first book, I don't like want to read the synopsis of it because I'm afraid that it will give something away. So anyway, that's book two. Now, the next book I have is The Silent Companions, and this is by Laura Purcell. And now I'm not gonna lie, this book is it's in good condition, but you can definitely see that it was read. It is a little worn, but the pages inside, it's good, and it's good enough for my purpose of reading it. And this right here says, newly married, newly widowed, Elise is sent to to see out her pregnancy at her late husband's crumbling country estate, The Bridge. With her new servants resentful and the local villagers actively hostile, Elise only has her husband's awkward cousin for company, or so she thinks. For inside her new home lies a mysterious wooden figure, a silent companion, that bears an unsettling resemblance to Elise herself. So I thought it was a very intriguing cover, and it leaves a bit of, mystery as far as what the synopsis said on the back. So again, it's $1. I picked it up. So those are the two books that I got from the Goodwill. Now, the next set of books that I have are books that I got from Second and Charles. And y'all, I spent probably 2 hours in the store because they have so many books. Just like with the Goodwill, you don't really know what you're going to find. And if you've never been in the second and Charles before, at the front of the store, they have usually new books there. And as you walk down the different aisles, on the like front half of the aisles are usually new books there as well. But then, of course, throughout the stores, you have used books. And when I used to go in there, I used to go in there with the purpose of, okay, this is my list of books that I'm looking for. But I found that was really kind of like a waste of time. I usually never found those particular books. So now when I go in, I just, take my time and kind of, peruse through the aisles. But the problem is and it's not really a problem, but they have so many books in there that I usually cannot look at all the books in one day because I really would be in there all day long. And, as much as I love books, anybody got time to be, 6 and 7 hours in a bookstore. So I usually end up doing one half one day. And then the next time I come back, I'll go to the other half. And this time around, it took me a little bit longer to get through the bookstore because I said I want to try to, maybe get into reading more fantasy books. And I took a long time back there. But yeah, most of those fantasy books were like hardcovers and they were expensive. And I'm like, I'm not spending that kind of money for something that I don't know if I'm going to like. So I think as far as fantasy books, unless I just see, some that are reasonably priced, I'm probably going to go to the library and just check those out just to make certain that I actually like it. But anywho, first book that I got from there. This is called Leaving Atlanta by Tayari Jones. Okay. And I am going to read the synopsis of this. It says, it's the end of summer in Atlanta, and fifth grade classmate Tasha Baxter, Rodney Green, and Octavia Harrison will discover back to school means facing everyday challenges in a new world of safety lessons, terrified parents, and constant fear. Set during the 2 year nightmare in which Atlanta's black children were vanishing, and 29 will be found murdered by 1982. Leaving Atlanta portrays one of the darkest tragedies in American history. Through the eyes of three unforgettable children, here are all the hurts and little wins. The all too sudden changes and the merciless outside forces that can sweep the young into adult and forever shape their lives. Guys, I never heard of, this Atlanta tragedy that they're talking about. And from the way it's written, I believe this is, actually a true event. So I'm very, very interested in reading this. Okay. So anyway, that's that one. The next one I have is called Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. Now, I have read Closed Doors and another one, I cannot remember the name of it, by B.A. Paris. And thus far, I am really enjoying her writing. So when I saw this, I said, let me pick it up. Even though on the back it doesn't really give you much, but what it does say is she vanished, he lied, their secrets won't stay buried. A decade ago, his girlfriend disappeared. He told the police the truth about the night, just not the whole truth. Now he's moved on, but the past isn't done with him yet. Okay, it's telling me just enough to make me want to read this. And like I said, having read other books by this author and really enjoying it, I think that this is probably going to be a good read as well. Okay, next we have Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Corain or Coran. Y'all know I'll be messing up these people's names. Sorry. Okay, so the synopsis of this one says it would be easy to underestimate Chloe. She's a freshman honor student, the hot girl next door, and also happens to be a psychopath. Y'all know anything about psychopath, serial killer, murderer? Y'all know I'm gonna gravitate towards the books. That's just where I'm at with it. Um, Chloe is one of 7 students at her DC-based college who are part of an unusual clinical study of psychopaths that track their moods and movements. But she has a side hobby involving a childhood friend who grievously wronged her. When one of the students in the study is found murdered in the psychology building, a dangerous game of cat and mouse begins, and Chloe goes from hunter to prey. As she races to identify the killer and put her own plan for revenge into action, she'll be forced to decide if she can trust any of her fellow psychopaths. And I won't say no, you can't trust them, but I don't know. Maybe she can. I don't know. But anyway, sounds like it's going to be a good book. All right, the next book that I have is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Joelle. And I have on here that this is book 1 in the Family Upstairs series. So I'm glad that I was able to get book number 1. And the synopsis on here says, soon after her birthday, Libby Jones returns home from work to find the letter she has been waiting for 25 years. She rips it open with one driving thought. I am finally going to know who I am. She learns not only the identity of her birth parents, but also that she is the sole inheritor of the abandoned mansion on the banks of the Thames. Everything in Libby's life is about to change, but what she can't possibly know is that others have been waiting for her. Waiting for this day as well. And she is on a collision course to meet them. Okay, this is intriguing, and I have read. I don't know why I cannot think of the names of these books, but I read another book by Lisa Joelle. I want to say it's none of these. I can't remember. If I do remember, I'll try to put it up there. But I read that book and it was good. I want to say it's like none of these. I don't know. Can't remember. But anyway, this sounds like it's going to be really good. And one of the blurbs on here by B.A. Paris, who I just talked about, says brilliantly dark and disturbing. Absolutely couldn't put it down. So I'm going to take the word of B.A. Paris and I'm going to get into this. Like I said, being that this is book number 1 in a series, that makes it even better. Okay, next on my list. This is called Leper at the Door by Jennifer McVeigh. Now, the synopsis of this one it says, after 6 years exiled in England, Rachel has returned to Kenya and the farm where she spent her childhood, only to find the home she has longed for in the grip of change. Her father's hold on, I read this sentence wrong. Only to find the home she has longed for in the grip of change. Her father's new companion, a strange, intolerant woman, has taken over the household, and the political climate in the country is growing more unsettling by the day. Looming over them all is the threat of a secret society intent on uniting the Africans and overthrowing the whites. As Rachel struggles to find her place in her home, she initiates a secret relationship, one that would demand from her an act of betrayal. Only one man knows her secret, and he has made it clear how she can buy his silence. But she knows something of her own, something she has never told anyone, and her knowledge brings her power. I think this is going to be a really good book. I think this is going to be a book that is probably going to dive deep into maybe some controversial topics, maybe. I don't know. I just think this is going to be just a really deep book. So this is probably a book that I will put on my list of deep dive books because I just kind of got that gut feeling with this one. Okay. Now, if you have seen any of my videos, then you know I do not necessarily go out there and buy books that are um, popular. Usually I kind of wait till all the hype dies down because, if the book is hyped up too much for me, then I am going to expect for it to be up here. And if I read it, then I'm like disappointed if it doesn't meet these expectations. Even though I know I shouldn't do that, I do. However, I couldn't resist these last two books because the first one was on sale for 50% off. And I am a bit of a frugal person. So, I couldn't beat it. I know this author. I actually, well, when I say I know this author, I mean I know this author's work. I don't know the author, but I read several of her books. I loved each and every one. I've never read a book by her that I didn't enjoy. I had the pleasure of meeting her. If you look at my Read Free festival, I don't know what I titled it. I'll put it up there though. But I met her and Miss Kennedy Ryan, and that author is none other than Miss Shonora Williams. Okay, this is Mayhem and the Mortal. Guys, this is a beautiful book. If you like sprayed edges, then here you go. And the purple and gold color is just absolutely fabulous. Now, again, I hate when they put stickers right here. Now, Sucking and Charles know they're wrong for slapping this right here. They could have put that darn sticker. Well, I guess they wouldn't put it on the back because you wouldn't be able to see it. But they could have just put like this big thing some other place. And then they didn't have to stick it on the front. But I am going to try to get it off. So this book originally was $32.99. So 50% off of this, I said, okay, I'm with it. So anyway, oh, let me show you guys this too. This is it without the jacket. Look how beautiful that is. I hope that light's not too bright. I hope you guys are able to see how beautiful that is. Okay, so, and this is, I believe, like a fantasy book. And I usually don't read it, but again, everything that I read by Miss Shonora Williams has been absolutely wonderful. So I have no doubt that this book probably will be the same. So, synopsis: one mission, one curse, no escape. Zara doesn't want a hero, she needs a weapon. To save her sister from a soul devouring curse, she has to cross the shallows, a nightmare landscape of ruined magic, shifting paths, and vicious creatures that eat people alive. Her guide, Vane, sorcerer, assassin, walking red flag. His name clears rooms, his magic kills quietly, and whatever he's really after is not salvation. He promises to help, he might even mean it. But Zara knows better than to trust a liar with a blade and ice in his veins. She just doesn't have a choice. Sounds good. And I believe Miss Shanora Williams writes in different genres. Like I don't think she just sticks to one. So that's just kind of fascinating and cool when you have an author that can, mix it up and do that because I don't know about most people, but I know for me, even though my favorite books are horror books, I don't only read horror books. I like to read a bit of everything. So if you have like, an author that you really enjoy their writing and then they can write different genres, that's pretty cool too. And I want to say the same is true for, um, is it Ellis Stratton? That may not even be her name. I could be messing that up. But I think that may be true. Or maybe I just made it up, guys. I don't know. Sometimes I make up stuff. Don't mean to. It is what it is. Okay. Now, the next book that I have, again, I don't usually buy new books, in the sense of ones that just came out. But the reason that I got this book is because this book is originally $27.99, but Second and Charles had it for $13.95. It's a hardcover, and you guys know those hardcovers be expensive. So I said I've I've seen this book on a lot of people TBR list, and some who actually read it. I have not heard anything bad about the book, but either way, for 13 bucks, brand new book, I figure I might as well give it a shot. And this is Best Offer Wins by is it Marissa Pacino? I don't know. Y'all know me and these names. But this right here says 18 months and 11 lost bidding wars into house hunting in the overheated Washington, D.C. suburb. 37-year-old publicist Margot gets a tip about the perfect house in the perfect neighborhood, slated to come up for sale in 1 month. Desperate to escape the cramped apartment she shares with her husband, Ian, and in turn get their marriage, plan to have a baby, and whole life back on track. Margot becomes obsessed with buying the house before it's publicly listed and the masses descend. A little stalking, harmless. A bit of trespassing, necessary. As Margot infiltrates the homeowner's lives, her tactics grow increasingly unhinged, but just when she thinks she's won them over, she hits a snag in her plan. Okay, this lady sounds like she might be a bit of a cuckoo bird, and I'm there for it. She might become unhinged because you know how people get when you get a bidding war on certain things, and especially with a house that she wants, and trying to buy that right house. I can see it. So anyway, I look forward to it. So those are the books that I got from Second and Charles, and so I did not do a March TBR, and I didn't do an April TBR because I was just kind of like in my mood, and I was like, well, I don't really know which one I want to read. I mean, what I want to read. But guys, think I think everything that I got from Second and Charles, well, not I think, everything that I got from Second and Charles, these books that I just went over with you, these are going to be books that I am going to read either for May or June. And I haven't decided yet because I made up a list of books. If y'all look back at my other videos, I had initially made up books for possibly a March TBR, but then I went to the library, got suckered in, and ended up getting books and never did that list. So I still have that list written, and then I have this. Anyway, so I have those two lists. So I'm either going to read what I already have listed, or I'm going to read this one. Technically, I'm going to read both of them. It's just a question of whether or not I'm going to read which one I'm going to read in May and which one I'm going to read in June. I don't know. Something kind of tells me that I'm probably going to go with this for May And part of me kind of think I'm going to go with this because these books are already out and I don't have to go on my bookshelf and pull them down. Um, and plus, they just all sound so good to me. That's the problem. All these books sound so freaking good that it makes it hard for me to decide. But anyway, guys, I'm just rambling on. So I am going to shut up so we can get to the book outlet books because I have 4 boxes. Shameful. Nah, not really. Okay, friends. So I know I said that I was going to do the book haul with all the books and from Book Outlet, Second and Charles, and Goodwill in one video, but I haven't even started to edit yet. But I can see that part of this is already 22 minutes. So with these books, I think it's going to be way too long. So this will probably end up being part 2. So 2 parts to the video. So these books that I have here are from Book Outlet. And y'all forgive me because the noise is a lot, but I like to open it on camera. Oh my goodness, I always seem to struggle so bad with opening these books. I mean boxes. Okay. Okay, guys, so this first book. Okay, so this first book that I have here, I actually, I'm actually reading this book for one of my reading challenges. And the reading challenges, we have to select a book that discuss like disabilities. And this is called Haben, the Deaf-Blind Woman Who Conquered Harvard Law. This is a memoir by Haben Girma. And please forgive me because I'm probably saying her name wrong. But I know that this is going to be such a great book. And it is absolutely just mind boggling to me that you can have someone who's not only deaf, but also blind, but that have achieved as much as she has. So I cannot wait to read this one. And I will say this book is a little scratched and dinged up just a little bit. But, unfortunately, sometimes that's the quality of the book that you get from Book Outlet. It's not terrible by any means, but and I don't even know if you can see that. But these are books that are new. They're not used books. So I don't know why some of the condition is like that. And again, you see the book is this one is torn here on the side, but not gonna make a big deal about that. But anyway, this one is called Variation on a Dream. This is a novel by, I know I'm gonna mess the name up. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna put it here and then I'll write the name here at the top. This book, I don't know. I was watching someone who I normally do not watch, and they bought this book up and I was like, well, you know what? Let me kind of step out of my comfort zone and read something that's different. But a quick synopsis of this book here. After years of shouldering childcare and housework, trying to keep her creative life and career alive, and managing her husband's anxieties, the once whimsical Sarah is too burnt out to dream. Most days, all she can muster is an imaginary, picture perfect version of her husband, Trevor. Meanwhile, Trevor is caught in a downward spiral of his own, strangled by fear of mediocrity and loneliness, and disconnected from his family. He fantasizes about the early college days when his romance with Sarah still thrilled with expansive, seductive possibility. When Sarah and Trevor secretly and separately stumble upon an amateur porn film based on the ancient Greek myth of Ariadne, probably saying that wrong. They are immediately sucked into a dizzying maze of obsession, betrayal, possession, and duplicate selves echoing backwards in time. So this, like I said, this is quite different from a book that books that I normally would read, but hey, sometimes it's good to try something new. Now, put that down. We have another box. And to be honest, I mean, I don't know why they put all these in separate boxes because to be honest, I think three of these could have been in just one box. But what do I know about packing boxes, right? Oh, I can already see what this one is. Oh man, okay. So yeah, it's like they have two boxes. I mean, they have two books per box. Don't know why. Okay. Oh, and again, Book Outlet, I know you guys sell these books for relatively cheap, but most of these books here, it wasn't really a sale for them. So they're about probably like $10 each for most of them. You guys got to do better with how you package the book because a lot of times they send you stuff that is just not the book itself is good condition, but like the edges and stuff they kind of beat them up, and it would take just some packing it with maybe some paper, that could relieve that. But anyway, not gonna make a big fuss about that. But this is King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. Now, what I am kind of carrying on about, don't know if y'all can see here that the cover, that jacket part right there is torn, it's bent up, and you guys know that as a book lover, we can be a little bit about our books. Now, this is a book that I have already read, so if there are books the way my bookshelf is supposed to work. Books are only supposed to be there if they are books that I have already read and I plan to read again in the future. Because one day I do hope to actually have a library, and I want a library of books that I want to reread. And this is definitely one of them. This is S.A. Cosby latest book, and this is actually the first S.A. Cosby book that I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. And I actually have a ranking video of S.A. Cosby book. So I will try to remember to put the link for that below, just in case you guys want to check that out. Really, really good book. Now, the second book here, which the cover of this is a torn in the corner as well. Again, a little bit of paper or plastic bubble wrap would have helped. Okay, so this one is called Blood Slaves by Marcus Redmond. So, I have never read anything by this author before. This is one of the books that I picked up in either February or early March from my library. I was going to read it. However, I didn't read it because I realized that, this book has a second part. So this is going to be a series. The second book, which I believe is going to be called Blood Saga. Don't hold me to that. But it comes out in August of next year. And I am kind of one of those people that if the first book is really good, then I like kind of reading, most of the time I like reading series back to back. So I said I was going to hold off on not reading this until that book comes out. However, I was telling my coworker about this book. She read it and she absolutely loves it. And she's just kind of carrying on about it so much that I don't know that I'm going to be able to hold off until August. I probably have to just go ahead and read this book here. But anyway, I'm sorry. Let me tell you about this book. This book, and I won't go into too much detail because I definitely, it's kind of long, but I give you the short version of it. It is about slaves who are actually vampires. So you can imagine the, devastating lives of slaves in the South But then them being vampires, that's intriguing. I've never heard a plot of any sort like that. Vampires that are slaves? Come on. You know this is going to be good. Yeah, I really don't think I'm going to be able to hold off to August to read this book here. All right, let me move this out the way so I can get to the next set of books. All right. Sorry about the noise again. Oh my goodness, I can't open the box. Okay, again, they only have one book for that big box. That makes no sense. Okay, again, this is what I'm talking about. The poor quality. I'm glad I didn't rip this. I didn't know what this was, but it's because my page is jacked up in here. Bookoutlet, I know that your books are cheap, okay? But that doesn't mean people want raggedy quality, okay? We don't want raggedy quality. That's not quality at all. And actually, if you look here at the top, that is not a good quality either, okay? Yeah, they probably should send me another book for this one. But am I going to ask for another book? No, I already got it. I'm just going to deal with it. But this is called This Motherless Land by Nikki May. And I actually got this book recommendation from a booktuber. And I actually posted her information in another video where I briefly talked about this book. I have not read this yet, but I know when she was reading it and she was talking about like the first chapter had her like breaking down in tears. So I'm like, oh, this sounds like this would be really good. And this was actually one of the books that I had gotten from my public library, but I didn't have time to read it. So, I took it back. But when I saw that it was on sale, because this one I believe was on sale for $4.99 or maybe $7. I don't remember, but it's large print. And with these eyes I have, large print is an absolutely wonderful thing to have. But anyway, can't wait to read this one. This one is, usually I have no problem with going over the synopsis, but this one I don't want to say really much about because if I remember correctly, when she went over the synopsis and then later kind of told what some of the book was about, it sounded like this is one of the synopses that may kind of give details away. Now, that doesn't bother me as a reader because I think a book is more than just a synopsis. It's the details of the book that makes the difference for me. But I know some people don't like that. They like to go in blind. So I won't say what it is, but from my understanding, this really is a good book. So you have that. And then guys, I got the last box here, which is so funny. You can order books and have no idea what books you ordered, even though you didn't order a ton of them. Okay, so occasionally Bookoutlet will give you books that you did not order. And this will be one of them. Okay, let's see. All right. So this book right here, this is The Fallen Kiss of Dust by Carissa Broadbent. Apparently, Bookoutlet got this from Target. This one isn't too beat up. So this actually, if you look here, is the series that I've already read. I think I read all of them except for two that's over there. I have already read this one because this is book two of the Shadowborn duet. I just never had the physical book because it wasn't on sale, and El Cheapo over here just didn't want to spend the the full amount. But now that I have it, I can add it to my series over there. All right. The next book that I have on the list is Mary Monroe, God Don't Play. Guys, if you have not read the series, I'm telling you, it's fire. You need to read it. I know this is like, an older series. Who cares? I don't care how old a book is. A good book is a good book. It doesn't matter when it was written. Now, this I have already read. This is going to go on my bookshelf. And as you can see, I have them there at the top. Now, I think this was either maybe the third video or fourth video that I ever made. And I was on a book haul and I had accidentally ordered God Don't Like Ugly, but I had already owned God Don't Like Ugly. This is the book that I was trying to order, God Don't Play. So I have two of the same book. And anytime that I have two of the same books, I'm probably, if I, ever get a certain amount of subscribers, that I'll probably just do a giveaway and give it away, because of course I'm not gonna do, anything with two of the same books. But anyway, glad I finally got this book here. Now, the next one I have is The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. Again, this is a book that I've already read. This is like a retelling of Carrie. Really, really, really good book, guys. And I waited a while before getting it because, I wanted to make certain that it was on sale, but this is a really good book. And I'm sorry, I did not mention what God Don't Play, that this one is, I want to say this is book 3 out of 6. So again, I don't, like to give synopsis on books that aren't the very first book in the series. Now, the next book I have never read this book, but I have seen the movie, and I want to say this is one of the scariest movies that I've ever seen. So I know this book is going to be wonderful. And it's actually, the cover is really spooky. So this is The Exorcist by William Peter, I guess, Black. I don't really know how you said the last name there. But this is the 40th edition, I believe, of this book. Yeah, this is I don't really think I have to go into the synopsis of what The Exorcist is, but just in case you have never heard of it, it's where a young girl gets possessed by a demon. That's all I need to say, I believe. Now, I do not know how they decide what books they're going to give for free, but apparently they put in Endangered Animal Atlas. I don't know. This is a children's book I didn't order. This is the second time that they've done this, where they will put in a freebie. I'm definitely not going to read that book, and I maybe give it to someone who has kids that may enjoy, young kids that may enjoy reading that book. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for right now. Okay, guys, so that is the end of my book haul. I'm not certain if it's going to be a just one video or if it's going to be two, but either way, that's all that I have. I thank you guys so much for, checking out the videos, whether it's part one, part two. If it's part two, then I hope that you watch both of them. But anyway, if you guys would like, share, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye.